mean, California's got a lot of protections for that particular scenario, and I'm not going to get into the technical terms, but prescriptive easements would probably cover that. There's adverse possession claims, which is also basically some fundamental squatters' rights that you get when you've lived or used a particular piece of property in a certain way for a certain period of time. So the challenges, and I thought the video did a pretty good job of outlining this, is the challenges is that you kind of got to go to court to have a judge tell you it's okay to do these things.
So wait, so the guy who actually put in the cinder blocks shouldn't have done that in the first place, because you got to go to court first.
Yeah, I mean, it falls under this category of what's called self-help remedies.
Yep.
And there's a pretty large body of law around this, but it derives from the fact that this is how people get shot. No, it's absolutely true. Somebody comes over, that's my parking space. No, it's not your parking space. Done. And there's plenty of cases of that.
Yeah.
And so the court really does discourage people from going out and putting cinder blocks through, or in this case, once the cinder blocks are there, from even taking them down. So they tend to frown on that. That being said, I mean, there isn't a right answer on the approach here, because while the court says, hey, come to court and get help from us, they don't provide for attorney's fees through this process.
Yeah.
The damages are pretty de minimis. And so, especially in that case, it sounds like his property line probably does run through that guy's driveway.
Maybe.
It's just a question of whether or not it's fair or
you got to be a
equitable
human
to be
being.
doing
I mean,
that.
my heart was hurting just for that 79-year-old man having to go through that. I mean,
Yeah.
when I'm at that age in life, that's the last thing I want to be dealing with is legal issues. I want to be so far away from stuff like that. So my heart goes out to the guy, but there's a legal battle, and that's what guys like Ajay Gupta are for.
Well, and just one last thing on that one. I mean, if it was true that there's a property line issue that ran through there, the first thing that guy needs to do is talk to his title company. And it's not saying that the title is going to step in and what's called defend and indemnify, but they can provide a lot of relief depending on the type of policy that you have and the circumstances of where the lot lines are actually drawn.
We have an amazing title partner for the show, Title 365. Good opportunity to give those guys a shout out. But here's what's really important, though. I mean, I think that a lot of people are watching right now saying, I'm never going to run into anything like that. And you might not, but when you buy a home, you're talking about hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars involved from the mortgage side, buying the property, the legal description, the title insurance. I mean, there's really a lot to it. It's not all as nice as it comes out to be through the realtor's mouth, where, hey, you're buying this house and now you own it and you're going to make tons of money. There's a lot of legal issues. There's an article from the National Association of Realtors that we're going to pull up on the screen for you here, that it's almost like half of real estate purchases have some sort of legal issues. I actually want to read these off. You have 21% have real estate law issues with buying and selling, property disputes, landlord-tenant disputes. 17% have family law. 12% involved with estate planning, wills, trusts. 11% personal injury. These are the top 5 issues. It puts the real estate law all the way at the top.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. So again, this is the stuff you deal with. So what do we need to know?
So for your listeners, I think one of the things they need to think about is, do you need an attorney when you're buying a home, right? Like, that's probably the first question that people have. And some states like New York, East Coast states, they actually require, they mandate you hire an attorney to review your paperwork.
No kidding.
And there's a reason for that. I mean, real estate is one of the few industries where you're going to make such a large investment. You're making, like you mentioned, $500 to $1 million investment, probably the largest asset that you're going to purchase. And you're surrounded by people that all have a vested interest in closing a particular transaction.
Yep.
If you think about it, you've got your realtor, you've got your broker, you've got the title company, you've got
big commission. I mean, it's like very large financial incentive.
They all have financial. They have no incentive to help you unless you close.
Yep.
So you've surrounded yourself with all these people that want you to close, and there's nobody sitting there saying, hey, is this a good idea? Maybe from a financial perspective, is this the right home for me? Is there problems with the home?
And let's be honest, the standards to be in the real estate business are pretty shameful. I mean, on this show, we integrate the top 15 realtors of the San Diego marketplace to cover all the zip codes. If you ever need an introduction to a realtor, please go through my channel. Go to AmericanDreamElite.com. Let us know if you're selling, what zip code you're in. If you're looking to buy, give us a little bit of your goals, but AmericanDreamElite.com. there's 20,000. There's only 15 that we allow onto the show to talk about these different micro markets and niche things that are happening out there. So important. You can also connect with AJ that way as well if you have any legal issues. But when you have commission is fine, right? Salespeople should earn a commission. But when you have an industry that is so financially incentivized to tell you to close, and it's not just them. I mean, it's the real estate, the mortgage guy, even the people you're mentioning, title and escrow, they're all financially incentivized. There is nobody pumping the brakes and saying, wait a second, this is a flip property, there might be issues, right? So I think it should be mandatory. I know it's not, but I really think it should be.
So definitely certain circumstances that we've kind of identified where you probably should definitely get a realtor or an attorney involved. If you've never purchased a home before, you need to understand what the moving parts are.
And what are the things to consider?
Well, HOAs, big thing. I've always stressed
Condos,
that.
yeah.
Reviewing condos, reviewing litigation, reviewing the CC&Rs, and the meeting minutes. Because, again, you're buying into a community when you buy into an HOA. And the meeting minutes are going to tell you what kind of community it is. You know, are there complaints because people are, walking too loud? It may indicate that there's a problem with the thickness of the floors in the particular unit. So just reviewing the meeting minutes and the CC&Rs can give you a leg up if you're buying into a condo. There are title issues. If you're buying this, the title issues, it doesn't hurt to have an attorney look over at least the Schedule B of your title policy. It doesn't hurt to have an attorney look over your mortgage paperwork. By and large, it's going to be pretty straightforward. But what's going to happen, and again, most of your listeners probably know this, and they probably are shocked by what happened, but 2 days before they closed, they got a stack of documents that were this thick emailed to them. They didn't read them. They walked into a notary, and like 45 minutes later, they signed a stack of documents that purported to be something. And
I mean, AJ, I'm in the market to buy a house, and earlier this week, I got these DocuSign documents, and I was looking. Of course, I'm neck deep in the real estate industry. I don't have a real estate license. I don't buy and sell it. I'm not a realtor. I'm a consumer advocate, not licensed to do anything besides drive a car. But I'm looking at these docs, and it's a DocuSign, and you click it, and it goes whoom to the bottom. Sign, click, whoom. I mean, it just speeds right through everything, and you're just clicking it. Now, me, in a hurry, if I didn't pay attention, just be like click, click, click. And I think that's what people do. That's scary. It puts you at risk.
But again, not like for the most part, 99% of these deals are going to go through just fine.
Yeah.
And even within that 2 to 3%, I'm not saying that if you hire an attorney, they're going to be able to ferret out every little issue. I mean, if your neighbor builds cinder blocks through your driveway because there's a property with a boundary line you didn't have a survey done, I'm probably not going to catch that.
Yeah.
But it's that added level of protection for your largest asset. So quickly going through the areas, if you're buying it for the first time, if there's HOA issues, if you're getting into some type of joint tenancy type arrangement where you and a friend are buying it, then I would say you need to get an attorney involved. You probably should get an attorney involved if you don't have a trust. You should get an attorney involved to draft a trust, and there's all sorts of reasons. Give me a call if you want to talk about what those issues are. And then if you're buying commercial property, anytime you're buying commercial property or property that you plan to lease out, then you probably should get an attorney involved just to rubber stamp.
Well, it's just important.